Hey friends, it's me now, and this is Getting PersoNell with Christ. Join me as we get real, get personal, and discover how Jesus meets us right where we are. Grab a drink, sit down, just listen, talk story.
Hi, everybody. My name is Austin, also known as Austin Calling Christ, and I am here with.
Hey, this is Nellani, also known as Nell, and this is Getting PersoNell with Christ.
So we are sitting down here together. So my friend Nellani had recently launched her Catholic rom-com novel, titled "How I Found My Husband," a chapel romance. And I just wanted to take the opportunity to sit here and kind of interview her with some questions. Obviously, that maybe some readers will have, but also just kind of covering some topics of the book. So, okay, so first question. Topic is getting to know your story. So, what inspired you to write How I Found My Husband?
Okay, so it all started one evening where I was with one of the characters in the book, Miss Marissa. We were house sitting for one of my friends, and we were just talking about how lonely and single and not married we are, and we're just talking about how sad it is that we don't have boyfriends or anybody. And she fell asleep, and then I was like, okay, I'm thinking like, what is God's plan for me? Like, I'm gonna ask somebody to write me a story. And so I went to my handy dandy chat GPT for some answers, and I asked chat GPT, hey, can you write a story of how I find my husband? And so I plugged it in, and it's like loading, and I was like, wait a minute. I took a second to think about it, and I was like, why am I asking chat GPT to write me a story when I can write my own?
Mhm.
So I decided, okay, I'm gonna turn off ChatGPT, delete that prompt, and I started writing my own story. I don't know how it just flowed. It just came and then it went, and then by the end of the night I posted it on Instagram. And the next morning, I mentioned, or maybe I tagged some people in it, and Marissa's like, "You wrote a whole story?" Like, I was like, "Yeah," like I was just inspired. And sometimes, when the Holy Spirit hits, just let it flow. My pen, well, I was typing, so my fingers were just clickety clack clack on the computer, and that's how it began.
Wow, that's great. I think, this is a really different story um compared to other romance novels, obviously because it's based about our faith,
Mhm.
our Catholic faith. So, with that being said, I mean, maybe for the viewers or people who are interested in reading your book, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? Like, you don't have to tell us the whole story
Yeah.
because I know you have another book for that, but
Yeah.
just give us a little bit of background,
On
just about yourself and how you kind of got to this point with writing this novel.
Okay, so it has always been a dream for me to write a book. And um even when I was younger, my mom always told me, "Oh, you should write a children's book." But I never thought that I would write a novel. I always thought about it, but I was like, "Oh, I'm never, like, I don't know if I have the capacity or the imagination to write a whole story." But when I was younger, I would write stories in my journal for school, and I just loved writing stories, telling stories. And just I thought one day, I was like, "Oh, I think, this is what God's calling me to, is to tell stories." But never in my life thought that I would actually write a whole novel and then come up with, "I'm only gonna write one. No, I'm gonna write two more after this one." So, it was a surprise that God was calling me to it, and I just love talking story. And so, my, like, I don't know if it's my branding or it's my style to have like books and s- talks and stuff like that be meant to be like me talking story with you.
Mm.
So just like sitting down at a coffee shop, or at a table in the house, just telling you how my day was or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a really great point. I mean, I've read the book. I think one of the greatest things about it is when you read the book, it's very personable. And I
Mhm.
think, when you read some other books, a lot of times people base it on a plot um, that is fantasy or nonfiction or fiction.
Mhm.
And I think you kind of really hit a point where you made it seem a little bit more real. And I think
Mhm.
why it made it so real was your encounter with your faith through this.
Mhm.
So, next question. Why did you choose Eucharistic adoration as the setting for a romance?
Okay, so I fell in love with the Eucharist at a very young age. I was 7 years old when I got baptized, and I was so like enamored by everything that the Eucharist was. And I think as I got older, I fell in love more and more and more. And my hope was that if I went to Jesus first, then Jesus will bring someone to love me.
Mhm,
And that place that that adoration chapel that I talk about in the book is the exact place where I cried hysterically sometimes, about the it started, the story starts with me crying in the adoration chapel, and that has been many days and nights in that chapel crying because I'm single
mhm,
and just feeling the love of Christ around me, doing so. So I just wanted to give honor and glory to Jesus in the Eucharist, who has helped me throughout the many difficulties in life and the joys in life. So,
mhm,
um, having that setting in the Adoration Chapel was is very special to me, and I have gotten a lot of people telling me that they know where the chapel is, or they came from another island just and to go to mass at our church just to see the chapel, so that they can see where the beauty of where a lot of things have happened, all the
mhm.
little miracles that happen in that chapel. So I had to give back to Jesus in the Eucharist somehow.
I think the Eucharist is one of the most beautiful things about our faith. I mean, if some of you guys don't know, Catholics believe that Jesus is truly present in the Eucharist. That is when a priest consecrates the bread and the wine at Mass and it becomes the body, blood, soul, and divinity of Christ. It's known as our spiritual food.
Mhm.
And I think when he's displayed in the Blessed Sacrament, I think that's one of the most beautiful things. And I think you choosing that is really, really, really great. It really centers your book around our faith.
Mhm.
So, next question. How does the Catholic faith shape the relationship between your main characters?
Okay, so before, I didn't have a list of what I wanted in a man, and people would tell me, "Oh, the maybe you don't have to be so picky." But my life revolves around the Catholic faith and my love for the Lord, and having that between JC and I. Um, well, the character Nellani and JC is not true. Um, but having that Catholic faith surround their relationship is something that I've always dreamed of. Having a man who would lead me to heaven, or, guide me in prayer, pray over me, pray with me, and having that common bond with him, with the Eucharist, and just our faith is something so important that I want in my own love life.
Mhm,
And, like, I'm going to be picky of what I want. Maybe God might not send me a Catholic man, but I can still tell God, "Hey, if it's in your plans, let it be, let it be. If not, help me to understand why you want me to not have a Catholic man in my life." But
mhm.
yeah, the Catholic faith is ingrained in me, and so why not have the two characters have the common bond of our Catholic faith?
Yeah, I mean, that's great. I think, you know, leaning into that, I really want to ask, like, why do you think right now in our present age, why it's so important to have wholesome Catholic fiction available today?
Okay, so I know a lot of people are into what do you call those books?
Are you talking about like suggestive themes,
Yes, but what is that? What is that word that people call it? What kind of books is it?
like spicy
No,
books?
no,
Oh,
no. There's a word for it. Like,
oh,
is it smut? Smut?
maybe.
Is that what it is? I don't know these
Yeah,
kind of terms.
I mean, I don't either, but
I don't know, but yeah, I've heard, like I've seen people write all these spicy kind of books and stuff, and like it just it just leads you it could lead you to sin.
mm,
And with a wholesome Catholic book like this, I want people to recognize that we don't have to use our bodies. We don't have to um go with what the world tells us. And if we look to the love of God and the goodness and wholeness of what he creates for us and see the importance of marriage and how it's life-giving, that people would recognize that love is more than what you see in the world,
yeah,
and it's sad because so much of the world um need the number body what is it
body count,
body
yeah,
count, and like I'm not saying that either character is not, like what do you call this wholesome person. They have
right.
their flaws and stuff.
Hmm.
I'm not saying, even myself, I don't, there's I'm not the best person, but I strive to be. And when I write, I want people to understand that we don't need all these, I don't know, not nonsense, but like things that doesn't bring us closer to God.
Yeah, and I think too, even for me, like with being back in the church, I think um my love for the sacraments more, and I think even more so too, like through the sacrament of marriage and things, and seeing some of our friends get married and or
Mm,
who are in relationships and stuff, or are in marriages. um I think it's beautiful because I think it's like you said, I think sometimes we're so caught up in what the world has to offer. Um, and not saying it's a bad thing, right? We're all sinners in our own way
mhm,
and things like that. But I think when we center ourselves in what our beliefs are
mhm,
and what it should be, I think it gives people a sense of hope that, like, even though this is Catholic fiction, like it gives a sense of realism in life
mhm,
because the faith is, evangelized so much through the
mhm.
book, right? Um, all right. Next question. What Catholic devotion or saint had the greatest influence on your writing?
Okay. Ooh, there are many, but okay. So Austin's heard it before. When I plug in my phone, it says Saint Gabriel, patron saint of communications, pray for us. And I've had that on my phone for maybe like a year now.
Mhm.
And it always reminds me that through my communications, that, I have God's word to share with people, God's love to share with people. And I pray to Saint Gabriel a lot because, the storytelling is communication. And so, with my words, I want to communicate with people all around me, through my podcast, through my talks, through my Instagram and stuff like that. Like that they would hear God's love and communicate that with them. So I prayed to Saint Gabriel a lot to help me communicate all the desires of God to be put into this book and all the other adventures I took with communication. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. I mean, I think when you look at it too, that's kind of beautiful because guys, some of you guys may not know. I mean, I think there's a lot of misconception about saints, and I think saints are a really great way in our faith to keep us a little bit more grounded in Christ.
Mhm.
They're people that have lived and walked this earth, have had flaws and stuff, and I think um, having a saint to journey on whatever journey you're going on with, especially if it relates to whatever topic you're talking about
Mhm.
or evangelizing, I think that's a beautiful thing. Um, all right. So let's get into
Oh no. Oh
let's get
no.
into some funny questions.
Oh,
So let's talk
okay.
about some of the characters. Okay.
Okay.
Um, aside from yourself in this
Okay.
book, which
Okay.
character do you relate to the most and why?
Hmm. Which one do I relate? Oh, that's hard. Which one do I relate to the most and why? Well, I don't. It's so hard because I am the main character, so I totally relate with myself.
hmm
It is me.
hmm
Um, but I don't. I have no idea.
Okay, that's okay.
Which one do you relate to besides yourself? Because you're in the story too.
um, I feel like your mom and Neko got some jokes.
Yeah.
Your mom and Neko, I think, are great characters in the book. So sometimes I tend to think like, even though I'm a very outspoken person,
Yeah.
um, yes, you wrote me very well.
Thank you. Thank
But
you.
I will say that I feel like the inside part of my head is your sister and your mom.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah. They got jokes. They got
yeah, they got
jokes.
jokes.
Yeah.
Um, so with that being said, I mean, did any of your characters surprise you while you were writing?
Um. Surprisingly, what was fun to write was my sister. Yeah.
She's a character.
Yeah, she is, and I know, like
She is the character.
she, people have said she's the fan favorite. I don't know about that. Okay, but yeah, it was so fun to write her because I don't know. I just thought of the memories I had with
Mhm.
her growing up and just like recent stuff. Like she teasing me, like, well, I found you a man. Like, she'd be telling me that she goes massage people and she's like bragging about me so she can find me a husband and wife me up. I'm a husband me up. And like, I was just like, okay,
The fact that's
well,
crazy that your sister is massaging men trying to find you a husband.
look, it's not just men. Like she asked like nanas and
Oh,
nanas and
like
tatas.
it's
Oh,
like, oh, you got
you got
anybody
got a
single?
son. You got I'm like
Oh.
I think that's something like that. But she's always trying to like. She was like, I need to find you a millionaire or like a sugar daddy. And she's so selfish because it's not only for her. She's like, yeah, I need to find you a husband so he can take us to Disneyland. Like, who said it was your husband?
um, yeah, I mean that's great. I honestly, guys, when you do read the book, I mean, and most of you guys that are probably gonna watch this or listen to this, know Neko very well. So she is truly a character.
Yeah,
Um, but I'm so excited that Nellani wrote her so well because she was a crack up from
yeah,
beginning to end.
yeah. She's so obnoxious. Not just kidding.
um, would you have to say that your sister was the most fun character to write?
Um, I think it was between Marissa and her.
Oh yeah, I mean Marissa got jokes too though.
Yeah, like I don't want to say the
Yeah, don't
part,
spoil
but
it,
yeah,
but
but writing Marissa too, because I let's just say she's like my security guard, and she always be in the people's business trying to
mm,
figure out
mm,
stuff and try to protect me and stuff. So it was fun writing her. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, I did really enjoy her parts in the book. Um, all right, let's dive into some of the romance themes of this book.
Oh no,
So, how how does this novel challenge today's dating culture?
man.
I think you kind of touched on it before,
Yeah.
but in your own perspective, like maybe you can give yours and I can probably tell you mine.
Well, okay. There are some men I'm just like, bruh, like man up. Like,
Yeah.
and when I wrote JC, I was like, he gonna be a gentleman. He gonna open my door. He gonna tell me I'm beautiful. Like, all the things that I've hoped for. And
Mm.
I don't know if people have seen my Instagram stories when I launched the book. I mentioned that I based JC off of men in my life, my
Mm-hmm.
old crushes, my grandpa, my uncles,
Mm-hmm.
like, and how much chivalry they had,
Mm-hmm.
and I just wanted to put that in there. And like, man, all you Catholic men, you guys better step it up, dude. Like, ask them out, ask me out. Just kidding.
Ask her out so people stop thinking that we're dating.
He's my brother.
Oh, it's Mr. Bottom.
Oh god. But yeah, yeah, like the just treat a woman right,
Mm-hmm.
like make them your princess, just God's daughter, make them feel seen.
Mm.
Hint, hint.
You'll get it if you read the book. um, what makes this romance or this Catholic romance both entertaining and spiritually uplifting?
Oh, okay. So, when you think of people flirting, sometimes you're like, oh, they're
Mm,
flirting.
yeah.
And then you think of a person who's never been on a date for ever before,
Yeah.
and you look at them flirting and you're like, ooh, that's awkward. Like, you're just like, I've never been on a date, never had a boyfriend. So, really diving deep into how to write these kind of
Mm-hmm.
things was very hard. But I just imagine me like flirting with a guy and being awkward about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what makes it funny. And like, and another thing was, I just talked to my friend the other day, and she's like, I love the Catholic flirting.
Mm.
Hear those Catholic, what do you call it, pickup lines and stuff like that. And I try to be. There's no pickup lines like that, but there's like a little banter about that. Some Catholic banter
Mm-hmm.
between JC and Nellani. So yeah, and then what's the other part?
Um, what makes it spiritually uplifting?
Spiritually uplifting. That
I think there's a few themes that there are through
Yeah,
the book. Maybe not spoil it, but
yeah. There's a lot of prayer.
there's a lot of prayer.
There's a
Yeah.
lot of prayer. There's a lot of adoration.
I think the Mama Mary part was one
Oh
of my
yeah,
favorites.
yeah. That part. Just receiving the sacraments and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. So, and it the prayers are real. Like like they were my prayers,
Mm-hmm.
like true prayers that I had, and so I can I can probably connect with other women who have felt the same way, being single and stuff like that, and just being able to reach out to God and say, "Help." Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, I think one of the like we were saying before, I think having it so grounded in faith, I think gives like that realism, right? And I think that's the most beautiful part of this. So, I mean, honestly, I gotta ask you some funny rom-com
Oh no,
questions.
here we go.
So, without spoiling the
Oh
book,
no.
which scene made you laugh the hardest while writing?
Oh my gosh. I think you know which one.
Which,
The
which one?
um I just I don't know how to. Oh, when that very very awkward moment for me when I went.
Okay, wait, let's not spoil it. Let's not
Yeah,
spoil it. Yeah, that was
yeah.
really funny.
That was major for me.
Mm.
Yeah, it's so awkward. With that awkward moment of getting to that point was pretty awkward.
Yeah, that was a pretty fun moment. If you ever play a game with Nellani in real life, she sounds like a monkey. Like, okay. Next question. If this ever became a movie,
Okay.
what actors would you want to cast as the
Oh
main
my gosh,
characters?
people always ask me this question and I don't know.
Okay, well, let's
What
just
about you? What do you think?
that's hard for
Because I
me.
know I'm not too sure of some like Filipino actress. Like I would want them to be. They have to be Filipino somehow. You know, even
Maybe if it was
half or
like
whatever.
younger Leo Salonga or something
Oh, younger.
like 90s Leo Salonga.
Mm,
Maybe cast
no.
as you.
Yeah. Well, I don't know anyone right now.
Hmm.
Who would I see? Even JC would have to be
Wait, there's
Filipino.
actually this Filipino actor,
Mm-hmm.
and I think he's like part Chinese or something.
Mm,
But he was in like Star Wars
yeah.
Alkalite or something.
I don't watch
Wait, I
those.
gotta show you a picture of
I don't
him.
watch Starlights, Star
I
Wars.
gotta show you a picture. Okay,
Okay.
wait, hold on.
Well.
I'll show you a picture later.
Okay.
But I have a feeling like if I had the perfect like idea for like how
Yeah.
JC would look like,
Yeah.
that's how he would look like if it was an
Mm,
actor.
if I could only picture him in real life. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, if you had to describe the book in 3 words, what would it be?
I think, I think it would be all the time. Awkward Catholic flirting.
Oh.
I don't know. Or just like well, spiritual. Add another word. Spiritual awkward Catholic flirting. Like I don't know. I just felt weird writing some of it, but it was so much fun. But I don't know. I don't know if people would say awkward, but they think it's funny, and I,
I feel like maybe from your perspective, like maybe you'll
yeah,
touch a girl that's exactly like you,
yeah.
and she'll be like, "Yeah, it's awkward."
Okay, so what about you? What do you think the book is in 3 words?
Faithfully real and Jesus.
Yeah,
I mean, sorry, those are just the top three
yeah,
things.
yeah.
Yeah.
I know. It's just
But it is funny though. I have to admit. But I will say, because you wrote a lot of your friends in the book, I think when I read it, sometimes I feel like I'm reading a text message thread. You know what I mean?
nice. Yes, that's
Like
exactly what I want to
like
hear.
I literally feel like it's us just talking about your life like
Yeah,
through text message, and it's hilarious.
yeah. I know. It was just like I know so many people thought it was real, and they were like, "Oh, we want to meet your boyfriend." I was like, "What boyfriend? You JC,
Yeah,
dude? That's not real."
I mean, a lot of people actually thought like she was married, and like this is the story about how she found
I
her husband.
know.
This is what she wants, guys. Not
Yeah.
it didn't happen yet.
This is my comfort for loneliness.
Um, okay, so with all of that being said, like, how long did it take you to write this?
Okay, so I started June 28th, 2025.
Mm-hmm.
I launched the book June 28th, 2026. I was writing the book, writing the Instagram post weekly until maybe like January of 2026 or even later earlier than that because I felt like I got a comment on one thing that I wrote and I felt really down and I thought, "Oh, maybe I'm not a good writer." And it broke me and I didn't write for a couple of weeks. And then I went to adoration, of course, and Jesus like totally, you know, comforted me and said, "Why does it matter what they think? This
Yeah.
is your story." And so I I started up again. Then I went maybe in April. I went on a bachelorette party in Maui, but I stayed a couple of days by myself and I finished the ending part of the story, maybe almost done, and then got back home and finished the rest of it. And then I was like done. So I was done probably like May of this year.
Oh, I mean, that's less than a year.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think one of the things too is like, I mean, we've talked about this too before. Like, y'all better not be mean, okay? I'm gonna fight you. Seriously, I'm gonna pray for you. But I think one of the hardest things we have to deal with is criticism,
Yeah.
right? I mean, with anything,
Definitely.
I have that issue
Yeah.
with flute
Yeah.
playing. I feel like my flute playing not enough. Feel like you feel like your writing's not enough sometimes. But I think the thing is that we're not meant to please everybody, right? And I
Yeah.
think it's so beautiful that you were able to, like I said, like keep it so centered in your faith and took it
Mhm,
back to Jesus. I think that's the most important theme out of this is that
mhm,
he was truly present in your writing process.
mhm,
And you can see that as you progress.
mhm.
Okay, should we have like a lightning round of
Oh my
questions?
gosh, okay.
Okay. Coffee or tea?
Oh, coffee.
Favorite saint?
Saint Dymphna.
Okay. Daily mass or holy hour?
Holy hour.
Okay. If you could have dinner with any saint, who would it be?
Ooh. Ugh. Ooh, that's hard. Mm. Um, ooh. I think Saint Augustine because he's interesting.
He truthfully is
Yeah.
interesting. Guys, he was almost my confirmation saint. um, okay. Favorite rom-com movie that reminds you or inspired you as you wrote?
What is that? Never Been Kissed. Is that what it's
Ah,
called?
Never Been
With
Kissed? Yeah.
Drew
Yeah.
Barrymore? Yes, yes, yes.
You know what I was thinking?
What?
13 going on 30.
Hmm?
Because I was thinking, like, like you always have that as a kid, and then, like, you want it to
Yeah.
be old, and then,
Well, I was thinking like, oh no,
I don't know.
like,
That kind of just
yeah.
popped into my head. Like, 13
Hmm.
going on 30, I was like, when you were first writing this book, I was like, just give me some,
Oh,
like,
I never noticed that.
you know,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
give me some 13 going on 30 vibes. Um, Describe the book only using emojis. So try to act out an emoji.
Uh, Prayer hands.
Okay.
Um, Orange roses.
Okay.
One more.
One more.
I'm all in threes. And the the emoji with the face going.
The Nicole face.
The Nicole face.
All right. Um. So I mean, that's that was pretty fun. Okay. So I just have a few more closing questions, and
Yes.
then we can finish this off. So if someone is on the fence about reading your book, what would you tell them?
Hmm. If you were on the fence, um, hey, do you want to laugh? Do you like when people don't know how to flirt? Like, uh, do you like wholesome stories? Do you like stories of hope? Do you want to be seen?
Mm, I like that last line. Um, what do you hope that God accomplishes through this book for you?
You know, with being single for 39 years,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say that until I'm 39, 40, 50. I think I'm going to get married at 51. So if you're out there, husband, you better wife me up by 50. I mean 51. But the hope I have for this book is that it gives anybody, man or woman, teenager, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
that my hope is that they feel known, seen, and loved.
Mm-hmm.
That God is still writing their story,
Mm-hmm.
and although I don't have a man now, I still think that God still loves me,
Mm-hmm.
and His unconditional love will always surpass the love of a man's love,
Mm-hmm.
and that even if I don't get married,
Mm-hmm.
that the love of God will always surround me through the people I live with, the people I hang out with, and my community.
Mm-hmm. And I think the most important part you you will do is it's gonna touch people. I think in ways. I mean, it's touched me. It's touched a lot of people. So I think you're gonna continue to touch people. So I know you did mention earlier. So I know that you said that there are future books or sequels in the works.
Mhm.
When do you? Okay, how long is this series gonna be for them? And when do you think your next book will be out?
So, mm, mm, there will be. I'm planning to have two more books
Mhm.
after this one, and I'm hoping that by June 28th, 2027, that some part of the book will be out, or the whole book for book number 2 will be out
Mhm.
by then. That is my goal.
Mhm.
And sometimes when I set goals, it's gonna happen because I'm gonna not sleep until
Yeah.
it happens. So June 2027, the next book.
Okay. Um, can you let the readers know currently where you can find your book?
All right. So if you do not know if you even want to buy the book yet, I understand you want to know more. So if you just go on my Instagram, Getting PersoNell, Nell, with Christ, and check out my post from, I think it's from chapter 1 to chapter 24. There's 33 chapters in the whole book. If you want to just know that part, and it's most of it is the same in the book. So read up to there. If you're dying to know what happens in chapter 25, then buy the book on Amazon. It's an ebook. Download it for $3.99 on Kindle. And I even have some of me, does that make sense? Some of my podcasts with me reading the book, not the book, but the post on Instagram. So if you're not a reader and you want to hear the story, go find me at where podcasts are playing, Getting PersoNell with Christ. Also, hear some of the readings of it, and hopefully by the end of the year, I will have an audiobook and a paperback book out for everybody to read and listen to. I can't wait. I can't wait.
Well, obviously, there's more to come out of this. So I want to thank you now for allowing me to interview you.
Yeah.
I wish you all the best with this. I thank you very much for including me in your journey and sharing your love of Christ through this novel. I am so excited for the audiobook.
Oh yeah. I'm
So
so excited.
excited.
We
All
gotta get
right.
it recording.
Yep. Alrighty, everybody. Thank you for watching. I'm Austin, also known as Austin Calling Christ, and this is
Nellani, also known as Nell, and this Getting PersoNell with Christ. And with that,
Go Light Up
let
the
the world
World
with
with His
his love.
Love. Bye.
Bye.